I like fighting number 2.
Asshole. Lumpy pillows, kiss my ass.
Don't touch my hands because they're dirty.
Piece of malware called Q-Snatch.
Oh yeah, that's normal.
I had a beat off.
The Burmese executives. So this Burmese, they say, pronounce it Burmese.
All right, let's get started. I can't wait around. I can't pretend I haven't been doing a show all day and just jump in. Hold on, I gotta shut the door. It's Housepart's Megaworldwide, and I managed to run up and check on my girl and run and carry my cat up the stairs. Chud needed a lift, and I was glad to give it to her. Let's go. We have too much ridiculous to even get near tackling today. I don't even know how we're gonna do it. We're gonna try. I almost feel like I have to rush it. I've done 5 hours of streaming today, and yeah, I'm still excited. I don't know. I was about to say I'm wiped out, but it's not even close to true. I'm still kind of running on the high from last night where we had our fundraiser for the Hearts Alive Village, Las Vegas, which is an animal shelter. Is great. By the way, I went upstairs and fixed myself. Hello. Some BCAAs, some branch chain amino acids. That'll keep me going, I think, for this one. It's it's not like a caffeinated energy drink or something like that. It's just amino acids, but it should help, I suppose. And it's supposed to hydrate me, which is very important. Also, we're very close to 59K. Like 200 people. There's a possibility that folks could roll through today and by God, they could subscribe and put us over the ass end of the number that we're looking at, 59K, and then we're on a slope to 60, and it's just very exciting. And I can't tell you what I have planned for 100K. It's just 100K is just gonna frighten people. That said, I wish I could tell you guys about what's coming up with Sexy Liberal. If I had 100K followers, maybe I could. Either way, welcome. How you guys doing? I hope you're well. I hope you're all ready for what I do here, which is I watch Trump and other people like that say their stupid shit, and then I use
Action replays in magnified fashion.
That's right, and I go back over what they say and try and make sense of it. Now, I saw this in my feed. I've not looked at it. I haven't watched the whole thing, and I don't know if that's the title of it. But there's a new Trump ad. And, you know how I always say that everything about Trump is a reboot? Everything's just old shit repackaged. It's just, Trump turds. This is a, okay, here. This is an ad. It's only a minute, thank God. And is this the one where he's covered in red electricity because he desperately wants to be Dark Brandon? What the fuck is this, like, striped gray tie? That never happened. But talk about CGI. Jesus. Okay. So this is Donald Trump. The phrase is then and now, but they've got before and now. Before and now. More like Eeyore and now. Before and now. Here we go. This is what it was like before, and now this is where it is. I suppose. Jesus Christ. What's wrong with you?
Before thousands were brutally killed.
Before thousands were brutally killed. Hold on. Why is the sound on this so quiet? Jesus. Is it just their site?
Including Americans. Before Iran helped Hamas plan the attack, killing Americans. Before Biden gave billions of taxpayers' money to Iran.
Donald Trump gave Israel the Golan Heights and moved the capital to Jerusalem, officially recognized it there, and also moved the embassy there, signaling a major shift in America's attitude towards a two-state solution, the potential for Palestinian territories going from like 50-50 to fucking zero, and therefore causing the very people he's talking to plan long haul for the end of Israel. And once again, visiting ideas that they've not acted on since the mid-70s.
Played hardball with Iran. Destroyed ISIS.
He wanted to get out when it was 70% wiped out. And he was like, why do we have to stay? Who gives a shit? Destroyed ISIS. Also, for the record, ISIS-K is who killed everybody at the airport in Kabul.
Kept the Middle East at
He fucking hates that guy.
peace. Kept us out of endless war.
He was the only person in color, even when he was standing in front of some people of color.
Through strength.
Through worry? What the fuck kind of look is that?
History shows very plainly that evil only respects one thing, unyielding strength. When I'm back in the White House, our enemy...
They're going to respect your new can of Aquanet?
will know if you spill a drop of American blood, we will spill a gallon of yours.
Yeah, I think so eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. We're not operating on that mitigatory level. Also, so you're just going to kill them essentially. If you give one of our soldiers a paper cut, we're just going to blow you to smithereens.
President Trump, the strength we need.
You can jack off in my hair.
To make America strong again.
For what, ma'am? Specifically?
I'm Donald J. Trump,
And I'm Donald J. Trump. And I only went to 4 of the 96 dignified transfers at Andrews Air Force Base while I was president, because the 4th time I went, one of the parents was mean to me and blamed me for their son who had died, and therefore, fuck these people, I'm not going back.
Move this message.
Okay, so this one's not the one I saw, so it gets even better. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching House Sparks Mega Worldwide. If I may, let's go to you guys real quick. I want to say, was it on... Oh, yeah, I know where it was. It was on Telegram, which is just fucking embarrassing as shit. Hold on. It was in the Trump team, was it? This is so weird. Yeah. So, please let it still be there. It's so fucking weird. Hey. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so this is the one. All right. I don't know what the fuck the music is on this one. Wish me luck. This is the other one this is on the Trump Telegram site, which basically is everything that's on his Truth Social. It starts with this stock effect that you can get from, I don't know, iMovie.
We're going to have a country that's unified, but we're going to bring everybody together. We want it all back.
My fellow Americans. America!
We want it all back.
What the fuck? Melania has superpowers. She's basically Scarlet Witch, is what I'm trying to tell you. What is it? Why is there a red electricity at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier? You can Magneto jerk off on my face. Hey, there we go. Yeah, okay. You just really, that's what you're gonna give him, is just kind of this half-ass shit. You just like the sky look. We'll never surrender. Really? You gotta swing for the fences on the Southern accent? We'll never surrender. I don't even know, like, hold on. I don't know. Maybe maybe they had somebody like a pro. We'll never surrender. Hoopity-hoo. Oh, yeah. everybody together to get the Muslim out of here. Oh, why is he on fire? Is he radioactive? I think he stepped in some radioactive water. Why you play football? Is that why you wear that hat? Never surrender. Don't ever surrender. Don't. If you do surrender, at least be quiet if you're gonna surrender, do it quietly, but don't do it. Doop 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 doop. Basically, I don't want to yuck anybody's yum here, but some asshole just took one of them regular Trump things that he puts out, and they just fucking they just ran it through fucking I don't know, cut cap or whatever that shit they put on TikTok. That's what that is. Never give up. Never give up. Don't ever give up. Which, of course, because giving up is a reference to letting the Lord take the burden off of you, hence the give up, not give out. And the last thing you ever want to do is trust in the Lord, according to Trump. So never give up and never give me the clap. Oh, Megadebba dog, and it's playing this thing with the Liam and my California. My California? Really? He's from California? I thought they all left California. Goddamn. Anyways, that's on Trump's Telegram channel. There's a bunch of people. Wow, thank you, Hialeah, Florida. I will see you tonight at 7. Here's all the people and they're doing their thing. You can't stand around, all right. Everybody at Ultra Mega, everybody's looking healthy. Everybody there looks like they've never skipped a dessert. We all like filet of fish. I mean fish fucking delight. And we don't want to see a Fauci picture inside. And we're standing in line in our Ultra Mega shirts. And we're wondering who will pass out from heat first. Goodbye, hello, everybody. What's up? Front row Joes driving state to state, pretending you're from there. Oh, yes. Why? Oh, why don't they have any new merch? I already got that fucking shirt. Come on. When they gonna do the Rambo body with a Trump mugshot on the top? Oh, yeah. While they selling things that going around the corner, there's a guy with a wagon and he's giving me a boner with all that Trump merch. What the shit you... Oh, it's over. I thought it was going to be better than that. Those are kind of things he's putting up at these places. Look at these huge crowds as long as everybody's packed into one corner. That's good. There was also, this is the video of him. I talked about this with Tara, in case you guys missed it this morning. Trump came into this thing with Tucker Carlson and the dude who like owns UFC. And yeah, he looks like fucking Larry King. This idea that he's like, yeah, and people were fucking so excited to see him. And he's like, hey, I don't know. Watch him when he gives the guy a fist bump. Everything's got a look on his face, like he's shitting. And he might be. I mean, in all deference, he could actually be pooping. Watch him fist bump this one guy, and you can tell he regrets it from the moment it starts to the moments after. He's like, I'm gonna get award. Thank you, man. Like, that's just gross.
Don't touch my hands because they're dirty.
I know, it's just filth. It's very weird. Hold on. Where's the turn this? There you go. That work? Okay. Better. All right. So very weird. And then watch this. He's like, hi, yeah. Squirt, squirt. Chris Rock. No, it's Chris Rock. Listen to me. Kid Rock. And then there's, what's his name? Jared Leto is right over here. He walks by him. Leto's got a good seat. And so Trump walks by him and kind of like waves at him like he knows him. And Leto's like, hey. And then starts whispering to the person, how are you, man? How you doing? He's like, how are you, man? And Jared Leto's like, what's going on, buddy? He just like blows him off and is just laughing. Yeah, all right. Uh-huh. Oh, wait, is that one of the crazy ladies? Well, that's the end of it. Yeah, that's all there is to it. And look at this. Hey, there he is. I'm excited. Thank you. Grandpa's out and about. How old are you? Tell him how old you are, Grandpa. Thank you. I'm nothing. I'm nothing years old. I'm nothing. Meanwhile, Macho is happening. Macho Grande. Over Macho Grande? I don't think I'll ever be over Macho Grande. Hi, chat room, by the way. Welcome. So now let's, before I get carried away in that shit, after, let's see, the before and after ad and the electric ad. Yeah. Well, let's go into the top of the news today because we didn't really get a chance to cover that this morning because it was kind of all in process. I would like to start this off by saying I appreciate that Don Jr., in his attempt to testify on his father's behalf, did some major pooch screwing today because they put up details about how great the company is to try to show off how great the company is. And in it was a major fucking lie about about Trump Tower, like 40 Wall Street. So, let's see if this is already, I don't know if you guys saw this. See if they do this. There's the 40 Wall Street. Where is it? I'll do the news on this. He essentially oh yeah, I was saying that. Live from Trump fraud. Let's see trial. Let's see if we can bring this in here. Yeah, so this is the live from the stand. It turns to the witness stand, and they ran all this stuff up there about how 40 Wall Street's a great property, blah bitty harbity blah. Let's see if they, okay, these are just singles on this. Anyways, let me see if I can, I'll find it, don't worry. It was, I want to say it was on Shitter, but they essentially lied about, the gives rope hands, about aggressive, they lied about how big you know how they talk about his apartment's really 10,000 square feet, and they pretended it was 30. Well, apparently they did that in court today, as well. Let's see if I can find this one. It's going to be in here somewhere. I'm sure we'll find it. Hold on. McCarthyism. Where were you bastard? Anyways, the point is that they put up paperwork that said that 40 Wall Street has 72 floors and that it has 68 in real life. It's super weird. Makes no sense, like why they would fucking do this. But the idea was that they brought the sort of sales pitch into the courtroom. Let's see. I've heard you have to just monitor speed talking. It's probably let's see if it's on. Yeah, I've got to put this in. Okay. Trump 40 Wall Street lies 72 floors, something like that. Should bring me to where did you go, you silly thing? Hold on. It was on Twitter that I saw it initially. Shitter. Got the blues about Prince. Okay. Anyways, we'll get to this. This is Don Jr. saying it, and then I'll find that little piece if we can in there. Give me 1 second. Here it is.
Go. Listen, I sort of a boring cross exam. I thought they were going to go somewhere, but I think they understand that they have nothing as it relates to a case other than, I guess, an overzealous attorney general who would destroy all of New York business by going after transactions where there are no victims. Yeah.
Except anybody who wanted to borrow money from a bank in New York, anywhere
other than herself. But you guys have got to think about the precedent that this case sets. If an attorney general can years later, after all parties of transactions are paid back in full.
Well, I mean, you had to shuffle around some money from some sketchy sources, and you still haven't ponied up to who those sources are.
With interest, making hundreds of millions of dollars, where they have no complaint, where they said they wouldn't have done anything differently.
Yes, they would have. They would have made hundreds of millions more in interest if they had known what your actual liabilities were.
Where every witness, as it relates to my brother and I, every witness...
Not your dad? Interesting.
That the Attorney General has called have said that my brother and I were not involved in the statement of financial condition. That even includes their star witness, the perjurer-in-chief, Michael Cohen, who's perjured himself probably more times than any human being I can think of.
That's because you can't think of anyone. Plus, he perjured himself for your fucking dad.
Even he said, perhaps the one time he was actually telling the truth in all of this.
I don't know. I think he was lying then. I gotta be honest. Hold on 1 second. Is there... Yeah, hold on. Because I think... See if my phone is back here. See if I can throw to this. Yeah, who's this? You sucker. Where'd you go? Yeah, there it is. Trump team busted for lying about Wall Street. There we go. Aha! Good stuff. Hold on. Here we go. Oh, you rat. Get out here. Copy. And we'll go over here to another, to do an entirely different, go boink, pop this up. There we go. This business right here. Yeah, here you go. This is what I was talking about. Trump team busted for lying about Wall Street property during trial. Lawyers for the Trump organization began their defense in the $250 million financial fraud case brought by New York Attorney General Letitia James Monday with Judge Arthur Engoron, allowing them to present a slideshow extolling the virtues and successes of the company. However, a Forbes editor and author of White House Inc., How Donald Trump Turned the Presidency into a Business, Dan Alexander, noted on X that the Trumps were up to their old tricks by exaggerating a property size, a central factor in the state's civil lawsuit. As Alexander wrote, one slide tacked on a non-existent 9 floors to the top of Trump's 40 Wall Street property. He wrote, Trump team displayed misleading information in the courtroom. This is it right here. I'll show you the thing. Yeah, there it is. This is Trump team displays misleading information in the courtroom, referring to 40 Wall Street as a 72-story building. It's 63 stories, according to a bond prospectus filed with the SEC and New York City tax document. More details here. There it is. 63 stories, Class A building. They say they added 9 fucking floors. It's just so fucking Trump. It's just so fucking Trump. Hal, have you seen the newly released Jenna Ellis deposition? I have not. That should be on the list. It's probably in there somewhere. Did I miss it? CSL, did you put it in there? You might have. But we'll get there in a second. I just thought this was fucking amazing. 9 fucking floors. 9. Also, the same slide says 40 Wall Street is directly across from the New York Stock Exchange. It is not. It's very close to the New York Stock Exchange, but it's not directly across from it. This is the, yeah. Don Jr.'s off the stand now. Up Sherry, and this was during his time on fucking stage. Dylan, I recall, is also a lawyer who played a star role in January 11th, where Trump revealed that he would be retaining his assets after assuming the presidency. Right, she was the one who had the big stack of fucking docs. So far, Don Jr. spent most of his time on the stand praising his father's assets. His lawyer is going through assets one by one with a PowerPoint-style presentation. Now we're on Mar-a-Lago, which Don Jr. calls one of the few sort of American castles. What an asshole. Jesus Christ. What happens if there's a building? I don't know. I guess if you jump out, you're 9 floors closer to the ground than you thought you were. So safety third. This asshole was, in context. Remember, listen to everything this dickhead is saying, knowing that he was just on the stand agreeing with a series of slides that his attorney was playing that said one of the buildings they own has 9 more floors than it actually does. And that it's closer to the New York Stock Exchange than it actually is. 9 fucking floors.
That my brother and I had nothing to do with it, but it doesn't matter because it's a witch hunt. It always has been. But the precedent that it sets for New York business, you know, if you don't perhaps donate to Letitia James,
if you don't count properly the number of floors that your buildings actually have when assessing their value for loan purposes. By the way, and it's not their fault, Deutsche Bank should have flown somebody over from Germany and had them go into the elevator and count the buttons.
Election campaign, I too will go after your billion-dollar transactions. It's ripe for extortion and corruption, but, you know.
Okay, first of all, calm down. Billion-dollar transactions? Child, please.
That's what you get from the Democrat Party in New York these days, it seems. So,
how many floors does 40 Wall Street have?
It's a scary precedent.
How many floors does 40 Wall Street have? Somebody needs to ask him, just flat out.
I don't know how anyone could do business in this city with that.
Well, they certainly, if they wanted to rent one of the top floors of 40 Wall Street, they might get a little chilly, I think, during the winter months.
Anyone you speak to who's actually in banking, who's actually in real estate, understands
that. Actually.
But again, they don't want to put themselves.
So not you, I guess.
In the crosshairs, so perhaps they'll be silent. So it's a disgrace that this is happening right now, but I think we'll make our points, we'll make our case, and we'll go.
And you'll commit more crimes because how many floors does fucking 40 Wall Street have?
Go on from there. So you guys have a great day.
See you later. Thanks so much. You guys have a great day.
Thank you. No, listen, I got to find out about my aunt passing away, literally.
This is, somebody else had to bring up his aunt passing away.
Yeah, not really what I want to talk about, but no, I got.
Fuck you!
Literally.
Then say no comment, shithead. You just forgot.
As I pulled up here this morning, I found out, my aunt passed away. Not a great swing thought,
Swing thought? Not a great swing thought. Who? What the fuck kind of sentence is that? Who in the fucking world what the fuck does swing thought mean? Jesus Christ, what kind of management speak horse shit is this? It's real buzzkill is essentially what he's saying.
In the back of your head as you're going to deal with this sort of insanity. I'm very close with her grandson. We hang out all the time, and so it's
You're very close with her grandson. Not her kids though.
Obviously
who are your age.
Rough day for that, but unfortunately, it is what it is. This is what it's become, right?
No. What do you mean it's like what it's become? Her death has nothing to do with your court date, fuckhead.
Every day there's going to be another nonsense, another loss.
No, it's her death is no. You're not gonna have another dead fucking relative on your way into court, you prick. That's what you say about the court shit, not her death. What the ever-loving fuck?
So they're going to keep trying. And reality fact.
Keep trying to what? Kill your other aunts and uncles?
That doesn't matter because that's where we've gotten in a politicized country. So,
all right, fucking gibberish. Can we listen to that again? Listen to this shit. Listen to this shit. Listen to this. Everything after swing thought. Listen to this.
It's obviously a rough day for that, but unfortunately, it is what it is. This is what it's become, right? Every day there's going to be another nonsense, another lawsuit. They're going to keep trying. And reality facts, that doesn't matter because that's where we've gotten in a politicized country. So it's a shame, and we'll deal with that accordingly.
It's a shame, and we'll deal with it. They asked you about your dead aunt, you fuck.
I think I'm done, actually. I don't, they had the opportunity to cross-examine me a rather...
I'm done. My aunt's done. We're all kind of done today. I don't know. It's like, that's the one thing she and I had in common. Today, we're both done.
Mean-spirited attempt to try to do something, but they didn't get into any details in the cross because they've been able to play this out in the press. Donald Trump doesn't know anything about the finances of the company, according to... No.
According to you.
They asked me specifically about the statement of financial condition, one document of billions, and like I said, every witness that they have said has, under oath, said that Eric, myself, we had nothing to do with the document.
Right. They've said that Eric and nobody even knows what the fuck they do there. They had nothing to do with the creation of it. They just signed off on it and provided some of the details.
Nothing. Even Cohen, like I said. But that is the basis for why we are a...
Reminder. This came from someone asking about the death of his aunt. He was leaving.
Apparently already guilty of fraud, having never even heard from us at that point before ever hearing from these witnesses. So that's why, it's a little bit ridiculous, right? You can't even make your case before, oh, wait, this is it.
No. She's seen the documents. She's seen that you have told banks that 40 Wall Street is 9 floors bigger than it is. That your dad's apartment is 30,000 square feet when it's 10. You prick.
Well, the document that you're relying on this, I'm not supposed to rely on a Big 5 accounting firm, like one of the biggest accounting firms in the world. I can pay them millions of dollars.
You're in charge of the input, though. They calculate based on the information you give them. They don't just go through your books random. They don't spot check you. You hire them. They only can calculate what you send them.
I rely on them to do accounting, but I'm supposed to know more than them.
No, you're supposed to know the basics about the buildings that your company owns and operates. They're supposed to know about tax law, you dumb motherfucker. So stupid. Whoops.
By this logic, insurance companies are going to start suing patients for listening to their doctors.
Yeah, that's how I was thinking of it. Sure.
Right? Do you understand?
No one understands that analogy. You should break it down.
Am I supposed to know more? Oh, Don Jr. doesn't know anything about it. I'm not an accountant.
Yeah, you're supposed to know, I don't know, something about the company in general.
A business guy. I went through each...
Oh, yeah? What business is that?
Each and every one of our deals. Had they asked me those questions, I could have very easily answered them, but I can't.
Well, how do you go through the deals and then not know what's in the statement of financial condition? Because individually those deals make up. Never mind.
I can't answer questions about a document that literally everyone acknowledges I had nothing to do with. I rely on the accountants to do that. It seems like you had a pretty good rapport with Judge Moore, and the defense has been pretty hard on him. What's your view? It was, perhaps there's a New York personality there, but no, I think he understood. I can't help myself even in a very serious situation. If you take yourself too seriously, the world sort of sucks. You got to have a little bit of fun with it. So I did. We had some, quips in the courtroom. The first time I was here, sort of gave me a fist bump on the way out. I guess I had a rather snappy response to something that was, I can't even remember what it was right now.
Yeah, I'm sure it was genius.
He said that was really funny. And sort of. So
because everyone's aware that if you play to this dummy's ego, it's even easier than fucking with his dad.
Listen, I'm not gonna. I don't even know how far the gag order applies. So I don't need to do that and put myself. I'm in enough crosshairs, guys. But again, this is about the Attorney General going after and prosecuting their political enemies.
Again, this was him. He'd already answered these questions. He's already said the same shit twice. But he was leaving, and somebody asked him about his dead aunt.
And if you don't believe that, just listen to what she said before she was ever Attorney General, right? We're going to go after Trump. We're going to go. We're in New York. It's bullshit, okay, is what it is. But that doesn't matter because it's also New York, because it is so one-sided.
Yeah, I got that. You get that?
And that's the reality of the world in which we live today.
Yeah, it's the world is New York.
We gotta play,
and it's all bullshit
accordingly.
And also, your dad plays the accordion, but not really.
But I imagine, as you'll hear from our other experts and witnesses and the banks and everyone, they'll totally back up our side of the story. I just don't know that any of that matters because
they have the documents, and that if the Attorney General's prosecutors ask them about the documents, they'll have to admit that they either never saw them when they should have, or saw them and lied or changed them, or what's the word? Using bullshit. That's right.
Unfortunately, it doesn't feel like, we're playing by the rules. We're playing by a one-sided system of justice. So, thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Go. Go.
In the name of Zeus's butthole, did you get out of your cell?
You're watching House Sparks Mega Worldwide. It's a marathon today, kiddos. It's good stuff. Lots going on. Now, there are a few things I like more. By the way, subscribe, than you subscribing. Come on, do it. We need 200 subscribers to get us over the 59K mark. You can do it. You can do it. Just me and you. All right, listen. There are a few things I like more in the world of politics, more than people telling me what I think. Yes, you know what I mean? I mean, it's one thing when they project onto, they tell you what their strategy is, what they're up to, what they're trying to do, what they're going to pull off, what they can't pull off. Blah, blah, blah. But the coolest thing is when they go, you know what those people are up to and what they think and what they're doing, and I'm one of those people. I'm always fascinated because I don't know what I'm thinking half the time. Honestly, I'm just completely lost. And thank God there's people like the mess that come along and go on some rando fucking radio show, the podcast, beg your pardon, the Chrissy Mayer podcast, who is, I got to give her credit, really nice to her either roommate / apartment neighbor, that she's throwing up some real sound baffling on her wall, doing some style choices, very high quality, good for her, well done, points you for not annoying your neighbors, unlike the mess who just uses stacks of books he doesn't read as sound baffle. I don't think that's of quality. I don't think that's, I think you can do better than that. Or maybe you can't, but you should try. And this is my favorite, this is fascinating. And we've talked about this a bunch, but he's going to tell us, here's how the left gain control of our major institutions. And by left, he means Democrats. And by Democrats, he means anybody that ain't MAGA. Because apparently rhinos also, because they control Fox, I guess. But yeah, so here we go. And it's only 3 minutes, so he's going to get to it right away. This is how they took over. I don't even know how you tell the whole story of how Democrats control everything in 3 minutes. I mean, he must be a master communicator.
Left controls absolutely everything. Did it start at the universities and just filter from there? 95% of media, Hollywood, and colleges are far left and woke. Can the right make a comeback?
Oh, and she's reading from a super chat, which I suppose we could do more often here, but I feel like I just read whatever comes up, and people who give super chats are just nice about that. It's really not about competition, buying your way to the front of the line to say something. But that's how it is on most of these shows. Maybe I'm a fool. We'll find out.
Well,
here it comes. Here's the good answer. Well,
I think that it has been a great failure of the right to enable the left.
Oh yeah, with what, getting rid of the fairness doctrine and all the plans they had to basically control media and allow a single company to own every media outlet in a city, and then fucking Al Gore comes along and sets the internet loose,
which was dominant in these institutions and has been for a while. But there was also a countervailing presence. I mean, when I was at Dartmouth, for example, in the 1980s,
these are the lonely years.
I could name 5 to 7 prominent, outspoken conservative professors at Dartmouth, and I knew at least 5 at Harvard across the way. And then there were other conservatives who were in the engineering department, the economics department. They might be more low key, but they did exist. The idea that you could have a university fully made up of people who all think the same, who essentially the spectrum is from the left to the far left. I mean, this is horrible. This is actually an anathema to what a university.
Yeah, but define conservative, because if you're just talking like kind of like the racist, like, I don't think women should be in the legal department, that doesn't fly anymore as conservatism even. So, and I think he does mean that.
He's even all about.
So basically the answer is how the left gained control over our major institution. Blame chicks is apparently Dinesh's answer.
But I think what we've seen is a takeover to the degree that these institutions, I mean, again, the media was biased to the left. But by biased, we just mean that they had a framework in which they tended to see the left-wing solutions as correct and the right-wing solutions as wrong.
Right. And that might have had something to do with how they actually played out experientially. Just, you know what I mean? Like all that shit. The Laffer curve and voodoo economics and trickle down, for example, if you're using the economic, and that here come all these alleged commie lefty socialist, commie lefty socialist democrat, socially lefty blah blah blahs that actually make the market work better than it did before.
I don't think that you would have a media 25 years ago that would be okay with finding a completely innocent American citizen who just happened to be on the wrong side of the aisle, framing him, and then putting him in prison for 10 years when he didn't really do anything. But I think we have many people in the media today.
I don't know if you've seen the people who have actually come out of jail. You have read Trump's like Central Park 5 ad, right?
Who are happy to not only watch that, but cheer for it.
Citation needed.
It's crazy that this is the reality we're living in. Thank you from Push-Ups. Your bio of Reagan was awesome. What is he like in real life?
Dead.
Reagan
well
was, I mean, a very unique character.
Great. Yes, he was. That's what I would say about him. He's a character and he's unique. And the way you sneak up on a unique character is unique up on him.
And I think had a very important lesson for Republicans and conservatives. And I've tried
is pretend to care about what he did and like him and deify him for a long time until somebody like Trump comes along and then fuck Reagan. Okay.
In my own life to sort of live up to this. He was philosophically very strong, very grounded, very hardcore, but
totally hardcore. That's how I would describe him. Well, I would, if you asked me, I'd say hardcore.
Temperamentally a nice guy, easygoing, genial, could do business with people so he was.
Yeah, that made sense.
He was not somebody who tried to like clean out the Republican Party, kick out the rhinos, get rid of the moderates. Rather, his idea was if you got some guy who's a moderate, you kind of bring him in and you talk to him and you go, hey, look, I understand.
You mean back when he was able to get a lot of stuff pushed through and he actually served 2 terms? Now, you know what? Fuck it. I prefer the Trumpian thing where dude fucking golfs the whole fucking time, lies about his accomplishments, does 2 shitty things, and then is voted out. Jesus Christ. Keep playing this game. Please vilify the guy that you got elected twice and was like a deity amongst conservatives for fucking Donald Trump.
And that I understand you think that there are difficult cases which allow for abortion, but Surely you will agree that there are extreme cases in the last 3 months, and that should not be allowed. So let's find some middle ground so that we can have a unified Republican Party going forward. I miss that kind of pragmatic conservatism.
Jesus Christ. You just shit on rhinos, fuckhead. And you just said that you just vilified the idea of reaching out to moderates. What are you talking about?
Which I think is the way for us to build a working majority. And Reagan, in that respect, in many ways, we don't live in the Reagan era. And in many ways, the ideas of Reaganism, which were ideas for their time, are not as relevant today. But this particular aspect of
gibberish
of Reagan is completely relevant.
Stop it. These words mean nothing in this order. That was it, though. Fuck me. That's the whole thing. That's what passes for discourse. That was his fucking eulogy of Ronald Reagan, who, if I'm not wrong, used to be important to Republicans. All right, I'm going to jump sideways. So I don't know if you know this, but Seymour Hersh is full of shit. And Crystal and Saga are over at Breaking Point. Apparently, this is the Ukraine admits to blowing up Nord Stream. Breaking Points. Crystal and Saga discussed Ukraine admitting to blowing up the Nord Stream pipeline. Now, it's not necessarily that they admit to blowing it up. The idea is that what's floating around, the rumor floating around, is that it was a member of Ukrainian, the intelligence community, who is, by the way, in jail right now for acting outside the orders of his superiors. And that guy was one of the people who spearheaded it. But keep in mind, these motherfuckers had on Seymour Hersh, had on a bunch of other people, like including Cenk, talking about how the U.S. did it with the fucking, I don't know, we sent the Coast Guard over and blah, blah, blah. Anyways, this is Ukraine admits to blowing up Nord Stream. Look, I love how they're like, see that hole in the ocean? And look at the fishies. And then a picture of him just kind of staring out with a flag or whatever. Like, this is one of those things, like, you could just tell they're going for, like, the douche noodle crowd.
Nord Stream, a story which has only gotten more interesting.
More interesting in the number of times that we've been wrong about it. And
by the day.
We hate talking about it because, boy, do we have pie on our butt.
Let's go and put this up there on the screen. In a news that will shock absolutely nobody, a Ukrainian military officer, quote, coordinated the Nord Stream pipeline attack. Roman Chernivsky, who is a colonel in the Ukraine Special Operations,
who's in jail right now,
forces, was, quote, integral to the brazen sabotage operation, say people familiar with the planning. Now,
all right. First of all, say people familiar with the planning. The fuck out of here. Now that this fucker's going to jail because he was not following orders and he was going rogue on shit. Whatever.
All of this is one of the...
All of this really points to the fact that Seymour Hersh was making a bong out of his own balls.
Most arcane, bizarre ways that we've finally learned the truth. Because...
yeah, and this is how I find out? You tell me?
Chervinsky is now actually being prosecuted by the Zelensky government. And he is speaking out in this, I guess, a face-saving operation to try and to save his own hide by finally telling us the truth.
Again, no. This isn't his admission.
Details, though, themselves, according to both him and many of the other intel officials and others who are familiar with the plan, is that this went, Crystal, all the way up to the very top of the Ukrainian military. It was overseen.
Oh, shit. Crystal ball, folks. Come on now. Oh, shit. Now, let me, real quick. Washington Post, Nord Stream pipeline. Now, this is the article they're talking about. Roman Chervinsky, a colonel in Ukraine Special Forces, was integral to brazen sabotage operations, say people familiar with the planning. Now, I don't know why you'd refer to a dude in third person if he's saying it himself. We'll see. A Ukrainian senior military officer with deep ties to the country's intelligence services, the very ones who are putting him in prison, played a central role in the bombing of the Nord Stream natural gas pipeline last year, according to officials in Ukraine and elsewhere in Europe, as well as other people knowledgeable about the details of the covert operation. Does it say in here that he said it? The officer's role provides the most direct evidence to date tying Ukraine's military and security leadership to a controversial act of sabotage that spawned multiple criminal investigations that U.S. and Western officials have called a dangerous attack on Europe's energy infrastructure. Roman Chervinsky, a decorated 48-year-old colonel who served in Ukraine's special ops, was the coordinator of the Nord Stream operation. People familiar with his role said managing logistics and support for a six-person team that rented a sailboat under false identities, used deep-sea diving equipment to place explosive charges on the gas pipelines on September 26th, blah, blah, blah. The attack, yes, Chervinsky did not act alone. He did not plan the operation, according to people familiar with his role, which has not been previously reported. The officer took orders from more senior Ukrainian officials, who ultimately reported to General Valery Zaluzhny, their highest-ranking military officer. They spoke on condition of anonymity to discuss sensitive details about the bombing that has strained diplomatic relations with Ukraine and drawn objections from U.S. officials. Fuck off. Ukraine has launched many daring and secretive operations against Russian forces. The Nord Stream attack targeted civilian infrastructure, which was shut at the time. The fuck out of here. Okay, but does it sound like to you that this dickhead is saying that Chervinsky is admitting to it?
Directly by the though themselves, according to both him and many of the other intel officials.
According to who?
The details, though, themselves, according to both him and many of the other intel officials and others who are...
To who?
Though themselves, according to both him and many of the other intel officials and others who are familiar with the plan, is that this went, Crystal, all the way up to the very top of the Ukrainian military. It was overseen directly by the head of the Ukrainian armed forces. According to them, and as always, they're like, well, Zelensky had no idea about the operation. But the reason why...
Yeah, no, that's not how... This is, by the way, his characterization of the WAPO article. All right, let's go to here. Through his attorney, Chervinsky denied any role in the sabotage of pipelines. According to him and people... I beg your pardon? According to people like him, from fucking what? Sagar? Do you think people can't read this fucking article? There isn't another one. This is a WAPO exclusive, you shit. Through his attorney, Chervinsky denied any role in the sabotage of... According to him? All speculations about my involvement in the attack on Nord Stream are being spread by Russian propaganda without any basis, Chervinsky said in a written statement. According to him... what was that? What was that again, fuckwad?
He had no idea. According to them, and as always, they're like, well, head of top of the Ukrainian military. It was overseen directly up and others who are familiar with the plan. According to both him and many of the other intel officials and others who...
He's only reading this article. Sagar didn't fucking call Chervinsky and get another quote that's different from what WAPO got. The fuck are you talking about? And by the way, the idea that these two douche noodles actually thought that like this is a dunking point after they were all in on the Seymour Hersh story forever, and she's going, all sister. The fuck.
Who are familiar with the plan is that this went, Crystal, all the way up to the very top of the Ukrainian military.
By the way, again, according to him,
it was overseen directly by the head of the Ukrainian armed forces. According to them, and as always, they're like, well, Zelensky had no idea about the operation. But the reason why we should really pay attention here,
yeah, why?
Is that the details on this show a highly coordinated special operations mission led by the Ukrainians
on a fucking sailboat with a fucking skeleton crew and a couple of divers
to blow up the Nord Stream pipeline, where when you start to pair that with the past reporting that we've done here on the show, I believe
You mean where you've been fucking wrong?
Ryan was in for you at the time was the level of entanglement between the CIA and the Ukrainians. That story, I now believe, was probably a precursor to releasing the details on this.
What? Yeah, oh yes. That's what Seymour Hersh was just telling you. That story is kind of, he's just teeing you up. He was just priming the pump, baby. Come, Tell him what's up, Crystal.
And it basically
tell him, basically, we
described how CIA operations in Ukraine, specifically with their special forces, are unprecedented in the way that we have trained them, stood them up, basically running half of their operations for them, paying all of their salaries.
For what? Fuck are you talking about? They rented a boat under fake names and went to a section of the pipeline where nobody was around. You think that requires some like crackerjack fucking timing?
We never even did anything like this like we did in Afghanistan or in Iraq.
That's true. We didn't blow up any giant underwater pipelines in Iraq or Afghanistan. Certainly not with the help of Ukrainian divers. I don't know why.
That level of support. Well,
I will. Vic, hey, CSL. Anybody? I don't. He may have already done this or whatever. Is the Jenna Ellis stuff? Oy. Is the Jenna Ellis stuff available? Oh, check the audio clips are allowed. There's no new Jenna Ellis deposition video anywhere on YouTube. If you could send us a link, we can't find it. So help us out, maybe. But we'll get to it.
If you put that then together with this about these Ukrainian special operations forces, it's effectively impossible that the United States did not know. Now
What? Why? It's impossible the Russians didn't know. What the fuck are you talking about? Crystal, you're missing an
The cope from the media and from the people leaking this is...
The cope? Motherfucker, you're the one selling that the National Guard did it.
The U.S.
Yeah, keep
intelligence community, quote, learned about it earlier and warned them not to do it. Well, that's one possibility. The other possibility is that that's all smokescreen for. We were actually the ones who directed the operation. But nonetheless, it raises several like crazy things.
Yeah, I have a crazy thing to raise. Can I raise a crazy thing? You fucking tit. How is it that you say the guy said he did it when he said Chervinsky denied any role in the sabotage of the pipelines? All speculations about my involvement in the attack on Nord Stream are being spread by Russian propaganda without any basis, Chervinsky said in a written statement to the Washington Post and Der Spiegel, which conducted a joint investigation of his role. Spokesman for the Ukrainian government did not respond to a list of questions about Chervinsky's participation. Chervinsky's role illustrates the complex dynamics and internal rivalries of the wartime governments in Kiev, where Ukraine's intelligence and military establishment is often in tension with its political leadership. Since Russia's invasion, blah, 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 blah. Can you explain to me? Can you explain to me the whole you said, he said, when he said, fuck you?
You had a lot of speculation that this was actually Russia. Obviously, there were tons of questions. Who can just, unequivocally come out with any evidence? The Biden quote was going...
What the fuck are you talking about? You guys had Hersh on.
Going around about, Joe Biden says, we're going to make sure that we get rid of the Nord Stream pipeline. It's not going to be a problem. I forget the exact quote of what he said. But there was a plausible, I guess, scenario where this had been some sort of Russian operation. But as more and more details have come out, and as the longer the investigations have come, and basically been abandoned now by the West, and now intel been leaked, we have to grapple with this. Ukraine, at the very least, with U.S. support and possibly at U.S. direction.
No, not at the very least. Zero evidence, fuckwad. You're going about the same Waypost story I just fucking showed. Where are you getting this other than just like dickhead, confirmation bias?
Is responsible for one of the greatest acts of industrial sabotage ever.
Ever. Fantastic. Good for them. Against a warring party that sent rape squads into a... And how dare they deny them the ability to make a living?
A bombing of a multi-billion-dollar pipeline system that also was used directly at the time to try to draw the United States into war. Yep. And these people are our alleged allies. More so, they put our diplomats, or maybe our diplomats were put in this position, again, we don't know who, where they blatantly lied to the American public and to the world about who was responsible for this. Here's a flashback. Let's take a listen.
The United States was not involved in any way, period. The United States...
Right. What in this story goes against
States categorically refutes Russia's unfounded allegations leveled against us. The charges that have been made by Russians are just flat out wrong, plain and simple.
That is the Robert Wood. He was the alternate U.S. ambassador to the United Nations there at the time, responding there. How about...
Right. What about this story changes any of that? I'm dead serious. What about this?
Our alleged involvement in the pipeline. President Biden also denied this from the...
Right. And this story points the other direction.
White House podium and the highest levels of the Ukrainian government. So I don't know. I mean, to grapple with so many terrifying possibilities, that the
terrifying
Ukrainians clearly, I mean, we've always known this, they directly want to draw us into this war.
Yeah.
But this was September 2002. I mean, September of 2022.
Yeah, we were already helping them.
The political conditions at that time were very different. This was an extraordinary event.
Oh, yeah.
That happened.
No, it really wasn't.
And it was clearly...
The Germans had already shut down Nord Stream 2. They weren't going to use it. They had already made that concession.
They really wanted us to get involved. And again, the only reason we're learning...
We were already involved.
The truth is because the guy planning the operation is now being persecuted by the Zelensky government. You can almost not make that up.
Yeah. And it's also important to keep in...
Why would he be persecuted if it went all the way to the top? Why would they persecute him for doing rogue shit if he was totally sanctioned? Why wouldn't they just keep it on the fucking DL?
Mind the context.
Also, do you think the CIA, if we're so integrated with their intel services, that we're like, okay, here's what you do. We send this team in. Everybody uses Ukrainian passports, rent this boat, go out there, dive down, blow the fucking thing up. And then when those people return, you should throw one of them to the wolves just for the fuck of it a year from now.
Of like why they would want to do this. And it's not only to draw us into that wider war, but it was also to put a lot of pressure on the European populations, basically cut off the possibility.
Yeah, of the pipeline that they had already said they're not going to use.
Yes.
That they could benefit from this pipeline. And so, I mean, it really was. Remember all the talk that we heard
about Seymour Hersh that you guys talked about where you were like, the fucking National Guard did this on a weekend?
Heard so much about like attacks on civilian infrastructure and how horrific that was. And
oh, fuck off. Don't conflate this with goddamn apartment buildings and schools and the energy systems that are functioning at the time. It's a fucking unused pipeline that politically the Germans had already said they weren't going to act on anymore. They weren't using this currently.
How brutal it was and what a war crime, etc.
Yeah, when it's an apartment building, you dipshit. There weren't people living in the fucking pipeline.
Here's a Ukrainian attack on a large piece and critical piece of civilian infrastructure.
Good Lord. That they were able to, they were already in the process of moving where the supply came from, and they never missed a fucking beat.
And we're just now learning, you know, more than a year later, what really sort of we're learning.
Jesus Christ. Can you imagine these two fuckheads getting upset about Bucha? I'm serious. Like this, I doubt if we comb through their shit that we would find this much like pearl clutching and gasping about the discovery of like the sexual assaults and the violence and the mutilations and all that kind of shit at Bucha. And they're like, I think it's, we shouldn't have, Russia had a big scary scare that NATO was going to come at them like 8 years ago. Somebody mentioned it. So you can't blame them for sending rape squads into a city and that they bombed for no fucking reason. But I mean, it's not like it's a pipeline that no one's using currently. Get the fuck out of here.
What really happened here. And remember also the way that this all unfolded. First, they were very strongly suggesting, and the media basically ran with the assumption that, it was Russia.
Yes.
Russia does terrible things. They did this thing. They blew.
Yeah, because they have the sensors and they have the video of the pipeline and they're not releasing it. Arguably, by the way, the dude that you're talking about who says he agreed that Sagar was bullshitting, that he said he was part of this, said this is Russian disinformation. He himself, the guy who's going to jail for other shit that you say is being persecuted, he's saying, I didn't do this. This is Russian disinformation.
Their own pipeline for reasons we don't really understand why.
Decompression, lack of facility personnel to take the natural gas that was out of it and have this giant pressurized pipe that isn't going into Germany that they've already shut off on their end, that if it comes back the other way, kabooly, it's easier to just blow a hole in it in the middle, and also you can use it as pressure.
But they did it. It's definitely them. But we're not.
Also, this is, by the way, can I just say for the record, this is a single source WAPO story. I mean, they have multiple sources in it, but for them, it's one story from WAPO that they're running for. And there's people involved in Europe and other places that are speaking on condition of anonymity, right? That's the idea. He's being held in Kiev jail on charges that he abused his power stemming from a plot to lure a Russian pilot to defect in Ukraine in July 2022. Authorities allege that Chervinsky, who was arrested in April, acted without permission and the operation gave away coordinates of a Ukrainian airfield, prompting a Russian rocket attack that killed a soldier and injured 17 others. That's why he was arrested. Newsdick, who is no longer serving in the Special Operations Forces, said publicly that the operation was approved by the armed forces and he declined to comment for this article. Chervinsky has said he was not responsible for the Russian attack, and that in trying to persuade the pilot to fly to Ukraine and hand over his aircraft, he was acting under orders. He calls his arrest persecution, political retribution for his criticism of Zelensky and his administration. Chervinsky said publicly that he suspects Andriy Yermak, one of Zelensky's advisors, of spying for Russia. He's also accused Zelensky of administration of failing to sufficiently prepare the country for Russia's invasion. Yeah, it's a pissing contest between them. But at no point, by the way, does he admit to it by any stretch. Yeah, he did not plan the operation according to people familiar with his role, which has not been reported. The officer took orders from more senior officials, according to people who knew about the thing. Said people familiar with how the operation was carried out. Like fucking who? And again, how do you verify that? This is like, 3 sources deep on this shit.
Not going to offer any evidence. And then it was like, and we don't really want to do an investigation either. This became increasingly untenable. And so then you had these suggestions of like, well, it might have been some Ukrainian partisans, but they definitely didn't have any connection. Zelensky had no idea. It was the Ukrainian Rotary Club. Remember, we were joking about out there. They were freelancing and he had no knowledge whatsoever. Now we get to, and the way that this was framed also in this article, I thought was very interesting because the headline is about this Ukrainian military officer coordinated the Nord Stream pipeline attack. But really the headline here is that...
Hold on. Yeah, this is the same article. Just to clarify, just to make sure we're reading the exact same thing.
It was the top dude, the highest ranking military officer in Ukraine, who they're saying was in charge of the operation. So it went all the way up the chain as far as it could, but they go on to, but Zelensky still had no idea, which, as you pointed out, Sagar, either way is a terrifying possibility.
Yes.
So if you really...
No, it's not terrifying. It's a fucking pipeline that the Germans were not going to use anymore. It is functionally useless. They're getting all their natural gas now that they are missing from the Nord Stream from Norway and Qatar. The fuck?
Have these people who are completely separate from Zelensky, freelancing, carrying out...
No. Like, even if you believe it went all the way up to the top to Zelensky, what you have is need-to-know operations. And overall strategic discernment by, let's say, Zelensky, saying to the intel chiefs and was effectively their version of the CIA, look, there's a limit on what I'll allow you to do, but within those parameters, knock yourself the fuck out, because this is war and they're trying to kill us all. And at the process, when this thing was planned, if even they did it, and again, this is just sourcing from the Washington Post, who's like, people who know people who trust BDO know that they did this, even though the guy involved is saying, I didn't fucking do this and it's Russian disinformation. Let's just take it as written. Of course, there's a situation where there's a direct, if he wants to know, he can know, but he doesn't have to. And he can give the intel services, wide berth to affect, non-human casualty attacks on Russia around Europe where they're trying to build stuff wherever they have permission or wherever they can go that doesn't violate somebody's territorial waters or territorial land.
One of the most dramatic, one of the most dramatic episodes of industrial sabotage in world history. They're just
Yeah, I know. I'm pearl clutching like a motherfucker
over their freelancing, and he has no control over them. That's terrifying. And the possibility that he was directly involved and behind it, and that, by the way, we were as well, is also quite something.
No, it isn't. It's not at all. It was a dead pipeline.
So it is, I mean, this is a bombshell, astonishing report. And I also don't think it's an accident that comes so long after the fact when people have moved on and obviously.
Yes, it's so shocking and amazing and pivotal, and the world shook that day and will never be the same. And now they've waited until it's boring to maybe figure out what sort of might have happened, but we're not sure. Meanwhile, the Washington Post is basically picking at a scab with this story, and it's so fucking vague. I hope they fill in the gaps on this, but I don't think they will.
The attention is very much distracted right now by what's going on in Israel.
Yes, exactly. And I mean, look.
Yeah, so WAPO's got that's part of their, trying to get around and do the thing with the bamboo. That's sneaky. Nobody sees us coming. We're doing our thing. Like while they look over there at the thing, the pretty fiery burning thing with the sad and all that kind of stuff, and pow. What about this? Oh, that's a story you want to forget? Let me talk about it now. Poof. Yeah, that's the same shit.
It's convenient for them to forget, but it's one of those where we cannot forget, especially.
Yeah, I know. It keeps Sagar up at night.
Especially because we're watching in real time, as everybody just like forgets that Ukraine ever happened, about all these most brain dead takes that I'd ever seen at the time, like, oh, the fate of democracy is at stake in Ukraine. Now they're like, well, maybe we'll have a peace deal. And it's like, oh, so is it
No, they're not. Fuck are you talking about? Marjorie Taylor Greene and that crowd don't count. Fuck. Since when, motherfucker?
real politic, or is it not? Because which one? Those are totally.
Yeah, I totally don't understand. Like, I was watching one channel and they said one thing, and then I went to the other channel that says the opposite of whatever that channel says, and they were saying like the opposite of what that channel said. So even what?
Incongruent. There's no actual, there's no overlap between those. So overwhelmingly, we are also watching the Ukrainian state, a month now starved of its blank check from America, basically disintegrating. You have the top military commander,
you wish,
who apparently was behind Nord Stream, who's like, it's a stalemate. It's a technological problem. As things are right now, nobody's going to win. Then you have Zelensky coming out literally begging for money, being like, listen, if you
yeah, his people are being killed, fuckhead.
You can't give us a check. Like, we'll pay you
we'll
back.
We'll take a loan.
Like,
We're here for it.
You pay us back with what, you know?
The industrial base of Ukraine, because it's actually potentially stronger than Germany's.
What exactly do you make again?
What exactly do you... Yeah, again, the fact that this motherfucker knows nothing of the industries that already exist in Ukraine is very telling. 2 fucking years in. Just like... Their chemical and minerals, their grains, the fucking breadbasket of Europe, for fuck's sake, and partially responsible for why sections of Africa don't starve to death. That's just Ukraine. Plus their science and tech and internet and security stuff go beyond even their military function. Just normal nerd shit. There's a ton of it.
Nothing? Oh, that's right. And especially now you would lose 20% of your country. How exactly is that going to work? You can't even pay your own government salary. So it's one of those where...
They're in a war, you tit.
He's in desperate straits. He refuses to abandon it.
Why won't he abandon his people? It's
people
weird.
In his team are admitting straight up corruption. Now he's his own political opponents.
Yeah, I don't even know this. And now there's like an article in the Washington Post that makes me look like an asshole for believing Seymour Hersh's shit. And then I don't even know what it, yeah.
Are running against him. He's canceling elections. You have all of this consternation with the Ukrainian Orthodox Church and all that that's now being scrutinized by America. I mean, it's a chaotic situation.
It's a war.
Which, let's be clear, it's actually been like that from the beginning. It's only now that you're allowed to talk about it.
Bullshit.
Right.
And in that, we are, again...
Right.
And grappling with the fact that our supposed closest ally and all of that committed an insane act of industrial sabotage, dare I say even international terrorism.
Yes, that's fucking stupid. International terrorism. One story, Washington Post, dude who denies it, by the way, who I guess is just guilty, fuck him, according to Sagar, just because WAPO wrote a story and they got some anonymous sources that are saying this. This won't be another Seymour Hersh. This won't be another one of those series of bullshit stories. Nah, this guy's fucking guilty, and he was made to do it, and he was happy that he was made to do something he didn't want to do.
That would have had the biggest, like they wanted.
Oh my God, this is fucking dumb. Whoops, hold on. I scrolled back too far. Sorry.
Over and over again.
The last thing I want to say about this is, I mean, we really are watching the utter destruction of even a semblance of commitment to the quote unquote international rules-based order. Like,
what?
This is collapsed completely in real time. And
what? Wait a minute. Hold on. So a country that's being attacked by a much larger force, it is alleged that they blew up a pipeline that led to 0 fucking deaths. And all of the material sourced through that pipeline found other sources quickly. No one was even inconvenienced because it was a combination of we got natural gas and liquefied natural gas from multiple other places, and it was a mild winter, and this one's probably going to be just as mild. And this idiot and her buddy are like, this so breaks the rules, guys. Guys, this is so not the rules.
think about, just do a little intellectual exercise.
Okay, let's do it.
If it was Russia that they could prove bombed the Nord Stream pipeline, think about how different they talk about it. If it was Hamas who managed to pull off such an act of international terror and industrial sabotage.
What are you talking about? Where the fuck do you think the missiles from Hamas come from, you dumbass? They pull up pipes out of the ground. They use the piping that Israel put there for them to get water. They pull those up out of the ground and make rockets out of them, you shithead. They do it all the time.
Think about the different way that they would talk about it.
Yeah, if it was like, if you could prove that like a group of people with no functioning military who wear sweatpants instead of a fucking uniform and wear civilian clothes and operate amongst civilians, who don't even have fucking, they've got paragliders and rowboats. Imagine if they blew up the Nord Stream. What if they built the fucking Gilligan's Island versions of 747s? What if they were behind 9/11? Get the shit. What?
And so when you have the Russia war on Ukraine unfolding at the same time as
just unfolding
the Israel war on Gaza.
Is it the Israel war on Gaza? Is that how this started, dum-dum? This all just started as Israel's war on Gaza. They just fucking picked up one day and were like, today's the day.
And you see so clearly that these rules are not rules. They're just applied selectively, weaponized against the countries that we don't happen to like.
I see. And so why the fuck wasn't Israel just carpet bombing northern Gaza and telling everybody to get the fuck out before October 7th then? Why? I don't understand. Why didn't Ukraine kill 312,000 Russian soldiers before the invasion? I mean, if the rules-based order doesn't exist, or it's collapsed, or it was going to collapse anyways, why did we even hold back before?
And it's so brazen.
Yeah, it's so brazen. It is brazen. Guys, it's brazen. It is brazen.
And it's so out in the open.
Yeah, it's so brazen and out in the open. You can tell by how many fucking conflicting stories about it that don't really add up. And Sagar just talked for an hour about how he's got to come up with this fucking QAnon level conspiracy theory to explain the gaps in his fucking understanding of a very normal thing during wartime. And at the same time, both of us want you to think that the blowing up of the Nord Stream fucking pipeline that involved, again, is 0 human deaths, period, end of story, is equal to like us fucking nuking the Three Gorges Dam in China and drowning thousands of people or some shit.
I mean, this is the end of even being able to pretend that...
Yeah, not even pretending anymore, you guys. I'm not even gonna...
This country actually cares about such things. I just don't know how you even say it with a straight face.
I don't even know what the fuck you're saying.
Going forward.
Okay, going forward. At least we're talking about it going forward. Obviously, now I'm allowed to, but going forward. How far forward? Maybe 3 months? 3 months from now, I won't be able to say it with a straight face.
And I really do think, I mean, you know.
Do you? I'm questioning that. Oh, you mean you were going to go further with that sentence? I thought that was the end of the statement.
There's been lots of things you could point to, but in the modern era, it really started.
Totally. And you could point to, I mean, left, right, center, middle, up, down, A, B. There's lots you could point to. You go, which is effectively what Sagar was just doing for that. Sagar's entire intro was, but what, that's the whole fucking, that's my reenactment of the entire fucking thing. Good Lord.
Starts to come unglued with the Iraq War and the bullshit pretext we used to go in. And
yes, real quick. Right now, I participated, as did a lot of people in my chat room, with the protests against the Iraq War. Not only to end it, but also how it was being executed, even if we couldn't bring it to a close. And that definitely did affect things. It affected we got to change leadership. We eventually phased it out. Iraq, you don't really hear about it anymore, largely because of that, because had we kept the sort of Dick Cheney methodology, it would still be a hellhole. And now it's in better shape. So much so that the QAnon fuckers think that the Iraqi dinar is their biggest life investment from now on. But in being able to actually protest it, how is my life different, Crystal? Just an explanation. Being able to protest against it than, say, Russians who don't think Russia should go into Ukraine, or Palestinians who don't think Hamas should have attacked Israel on October 7th. What are their lives like versus like what we're able to do? Are they able to change their leadership and and stop that shit? Are they able to affect new leadership to the point where it is a defining characteristic of modern presidents that they don't start any new wars? That boots on the ground is not a good thing like it was in the fucking 80s?
You know, it's no accident.
No, it isn't.
That Putin pointed to the Iraq War and what we did there as his excuse for why it's okay for him to do what he does.
Sorry. So, the Iraq War gave Vladimir Putin the excuse to send the Wagner Group into Somalia and cut open the bellies of pregnant women. And if it hadn't been for all that yellow cake nonsense, he would never have done that.
Netanyahu uses the Iraq War and the toll that took on civilians as his excuse to do what he's doing in Gaza. And Sagar.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't need an excuse. It's right fucking there. The weird thing, again, I talked about this earlier, but 9/11, calling this, even like, I mean, you could say that Russia's invasion is Ukraine's 9/11. There was no 9/11 impetus for Russia doing what they did. They just decided to fucking do it. But if you're going to say that the Hamas attack on October 7th was Israel's 9/11, it's a huge difference between George Bush and his ilk deciding to attack Iraq, which is not fucking next door. It's not Mexico. We're not in fear of them being right there. Fucking Gaza, as far as Israel is right fucking there. They're driving distance to Tel Aviv. There are no vehicles that you can drive from fucking the Middle East anywhere. Certainly not from Saudi Arabia or the fucking hills of Afghanistan or Pakistan where the Taliban hung out, or the Mujahideen or the Yusufzad or any of the people that Osama bin Laden was working with. They weren't going to be able to drive here, fucker. The Hamas could. There are no paragliders that reach the United States from over there. There were systems we could put in place that did not require us attacking another country. The lesson learned from 9/11 in terms of Iraq is not impossible to learn if you're Netanyahu, because they're right fucking there. Good Lord.
I think you're absolutely right that while look, I'm not going to deny there were horrors that we committed during the Iraq War, the number of civilians killed and the torture and Abu.
Yeah. Tell me about those. I always get thirsty when you talk about those civilian casualties.
Grave and Guantanamo Bay, like, it really does pale in comparison to what is unfolding in Gaza right now. But
what? So you're just going to say that basically the 1,400 people, because again, Guantanamo and Abu Ghraib, I'll give you horrible situations. I would argue Guantanamo worse, Abu Ghraib terrible, Guantanamo worse in this ballot. But you're talking about, let's say, person to person. You want to talk about proportionality? Involved in both of those places, less than 140 people, max, at both of those sites over the entirety of the Iraq War. And you're not going to bring up what Hamas did to 1,400 fucking innocent civilians during their attack on October 7th and just roll past that. Just pretend it never happened. This is the war equivalent of pretending COVID didn't affect us economically. This is so fucking gross. Also, can I just say, can we look at the titles of these stories that they have coming up? This is the middle of their show. This is getting them over the hump. Israel, Gaza, Nord Stream, Eric Adams, Realtor, and Brothel. Way to anchor the show, kids. That's the way you know you keep it exciting till the very end. Fuck, this is awful. People watch this shit?
We started this unraveling in the modern era with...
The fuck are you talking about? We did? Are you out of your fucking mind? There's been an overlapping blowback since World War II as a restructuring of the world order kept rewriting itself. And some dumbass decided that somebody else should have the nuclear bomb besides the United States, and it should be Soviet Russia, not fucking the UK or somebody else, or somebody that we have a reasonable disagreement with, but our arch fucking enemy should have the nuclear weapon. And what did they do? They used it as an umbrella to try and wipe out everybody in fucking Afghanistan, and they lost 15,000 of their own people over the course of 10 years doing it. And us helping those people created the power structure that Osama bin Laden later would attack us on 9/11 because he didn't like us there. But without us being there, the Russians would have had his head on a fucking platter. It's so goddamn weird. It's like the funny part is, and I mean funny by grotesque, that she will skip right past October 7th, but then like round off this 9/11, our reaction to 9/11 started this. Like, she'll just blow off 9/11 entirely instead of going, it matters who you elect and it matters how they react. Because I would argue, I voted for Al Gore, and if he'd have been in charge, I question whether 9/11 would have even fucking happened, because he would have read his fucking presidential daily briefs and they would have been concerned about this, and they might have spotted it before it happened. It never would have come off. This would have been a story we heard about because they busted a bunch of guys who were trying to learn how to fly planes but never how to land them, right? But George Bush was like, I gotta read my goat upside down. And then all this shit happens, and then he's the guy, I'm the decider, making the decision to go into fucking Iraq because they had this idea like, while we're at it, why don't we just fucking wipe this shit out?
The Iraq War. And now we've just seen a complete dissolution of, like I said, even the ability to have a pretext of commitment to these supposed higher values. And,
What are you talking about? Why are we, then why are we bothering with humanitarian pauses, a corridor? Why are we getting humanitarian aid to the Palestinians in the first place? Why are we at the Rafah crossing? Why are we supplying military or non-military aid there? If that's true, if there's no even pretext, then why are we even bothering with this shit? It's because apparently, according to you, the American people don't give a rat fuck. Right? Why bother? Which is where apparently the American people in general, according to these two dipshits, are just like, bomb the whole fucking place back to glass so Jesus can come back and go ice skating. Good Lord.
It's an extraordinary and horrifying thing to watch.
Fuck, man. They must have here's what I think. You want to know, honestly? I think there's a timer in front of their fucking desk, and they go through these little segments because they're trying to keep the show tight so they can cut segments like this. And they got a hard 12 minutes or whatever the fuck on each segment, or 10 minutes, and they sometimes go over. And she's just talking to the end of it. We see this with Glenn Beck all the fucking time.
In real time.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
Hey guys, if you like that video, go to break.
No, it was terrible. It was ass. That is some of the most ignorant, blathering bullshit that I've ever seen not coming out of Glenn Beck's mouth. God damn, what a waste of time. And all this is like Sagar just like jerking himself off about his hatred and of Ukraine, because I guess the Hills funding for their old show come through RT or some like co-pro, and now they don't have that money anymore and they got to fucking scramble for it. Good Lord. 1 million subscribers, 36,000 views. I mean, I don't have 36,000 views on my shit, but I only got 50, almost 59,000 subscribers. I'm just saying, percentage wise, it just looks like I have a lot more real people watching and participating in my shit, as opposed to this 1 million fucking puffery. Ugh. Good Lord. Oh, and by the way, thanks for looking this up. Hold on. Is this the Trump was not going to leave White House detained by this is the youtube.com shorts. Okay, this is a short by her. I think Midas Touch has a longer piece of it, but it's still just, yeah, it's just a minute. So this is during her proffer session before the Georgia prosecutors, which is, by the way, let me see if I can blow this up a little bit. During her proffer session, and by the way, you're watching House Sparks Megaworldwide. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show, do your thing. The proffer session is where she's making her deal, and she's like, this is what I can offer if you give me a deal. And you have to, you can't lie, and it has to be the truth. And if there's no deal, they can't use what you say in the proffer session, as I understand it, against you later on. So here's Jenna Ellis, who the lovely folks, let me see if I can grab this and shrink it a little bit so you can see more of it. This guy right here. Yeah, I'll shrink this down a little bit. Where during the proffer session, she basically says, I think this is the one where she says Trump wasn't going to leave. Let's see. I don't hear anything on this one. That would be the case, wouldn't it? Why are you not doing it? It's one of those stupid things about like different, hold on. Bink. I'll get it. Don't worry. Let's see. I'm going to grab this. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to paste it into another thing because that's how we do. And see if that makes it work. Hold on. I think it will. Sometimes the computer just doesn't like certain files. Okay. We'll go to here.
That we're going to start to discuss.
Yeah, there we go. Shut up. All right. Now we're back. Okay. This is it. This is her part of her proffer session.
Okay. And at the time period where they were going to start to discuss, what was Dan Scavino's role?
At the time, I believe his title was social media director for the White House.
Okay.
It became deputy chief of staff at the time that the conversation in question took place.
What was
The conversation at the time, I believe his title was social media director for the White House. It became deputy chief of staff at the time that the conversation in question.
Oh, quit it. There you go. Now it wants to play, you rat. Okay, here we go.
18th of 2020 at the White House Christmas party. And I emphasized him. I thought that the claims and the ability to challenge the election results was essentially over, because he said to me in a kind of excited tone, well, we don't care and we're not going to leave. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, well, the boss, meaning President Trump, and everyone understood the boss, that's what we all called him.
Yeah, the big guy.
He said the boss is not going to leave under any circumstances. We are just going to stay in power.
By the way, like all Trump bullshit, that one was fresh and steaming and damp and runny and full of waft, but ultimately without substance and unchuckable.
And I said to him, well, it doesn't quite work that way, you realize. And he said, we don't care.
Okay.
Also, you know who didn't care? The fucking rest of us. Because it didn't do shit. I think this is the...
And at the time period where they were going to start to discuss what was Dan Scavino's role.
Yeah, so that's
At
the
time, I
same
believe his
that's the
title-
same part of it. So okay, we'll move on to our next piece in a second. But yeah, so you know, again, I'd like to remind everybody, move it to the chat room, that the story that Jenna Ellis was telling, like, he's not going to leave under any circumstance. He left. Not only did he leave, he left with his tail between his legs. It never fucking happened. It was a bunch of bravado bullshit by him and his like key followers. Dan Scavino is a braggadocious prick. And it wasn't going to amount to a hill of beans, just like all other Trump threats. Unless someone else can carry it out entirely without any support from him, Trump can't ever make good on any of his threats. Yeah, he'll never surrender. Yeah, that's why. Wear a shirt that says never surrender with a picture of him surrendering to police. Good Lord. Now, we got to that one. Okay. Now, there is, okay, well, I don't know. Let's go to Stankfield. Okay. This is, I just like the title of this one. I got to be honest. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Stankfield. He's on Real America's Voice. I think he used to be on Newsmax, right? And they punted him downriver. Yeah. And anyways, I guess major media outlets are corrupt and journalism is dead. And it seems like it says mainstream media hires Hamas journos. It seems to be that he's going by the independent guys that were working for Hamas who were engaged in the killing on the 7th, who were photojournalists and were giving pictures, and they ultimately were just propagandists for Hamas. And that's just Western journalists following for the propaganda of these guys. I wouldn't say that they intentionally hired Hamas people because they like it. I think they felt sympathetic to the people, the Palestinians who were trapped in there, and they were trying to find people who could give them a slice of life a slice of life or experience. There's a huge lice outbreak there. I guess that's why it's stuck in my head. A slice of life and the experience of the Palestinian people. And so you're going to have to get people who are already in there. That kind of shit. So they hired somebody like that. And this motherfucker's like, they hire Hamas because they don't like the blah, blah, blah. This is Stankfield.
Ethics in journalism is forever gone. I probably don't even need to tell you that.
No, we're watching you. Believe me, this is, you can hear the death knell bell. The fact that you even are sitting in a vaguely news-like setting, I think, is doesn't look good. I'm not saying journalism is dead, but it's definitely on a respirator with a catheter in. If you're trying to pass yourself off as a journalist,
right? It's become so apparent.
As a journalism, listen to me. As a journalist.
For too many reporters and the outlets they work for, moral standards are now an afterthought.
Right, I know. I've seen your compatriots at Trump rallies.
The quest to be first with exclusive video is far more important than saving lives. I say this after learning about the Associated Press, Reuters, CNN, and the New York Times all using freelance so-called journalists embedded with Hamas terrorists.
No, their understanding was that they were journalists embedded with Hamas, and then they would find out later that these folks were participants in what was going on, and then they would reject them. It was gross. It was naive on their part. But again, they didn't go, hey, can we find some killers that will send us some really hot blood footage?
On October 7th. Do you hear that? They were embedded with the terrorists.
Right. They were embedded with the Palestinians, and then they followed through with them is the idea. That was the understanding of CNN, that these people were in the Palestinian territory, specifically in Gaza, and they were photojournalists that worked for them. And then along the way, they were starting to get pictures, and they were starting to post them, and then whatever.
Capture them.
And these are real people, by the way. He'll probably reference it, but there's two guys in particular who were working for all these sites that were posting these things, and people were using them, and both of them were active participants in it.
Massacre firsthand, the gruesome Hamas slaughtering of close to 1,500 innocent civilians. So there are lots of questions to be asked here.
Right, like what point do you cut them off, and how is the New York Times or any of these other sites supposed to know that a photojournalist inside there that is sending them pictures of actual shit that's in there, how are they, I guess, to know before October 7th if it's kept hidden from them that this person is participating and that this person followed along or rode on the motorcycles until they see the footage? Because one of the guys, by the way, one of these photographers he's talking about is filming himself on a motorcycle holding a hand grenade as they go towards the music festival. It's that kind of dude.
First and foremost, how do these news organizations find these freelancers?
They post through the UN. They reach out at hospitals. They infiltrate just like anything else. They didn't go on a fucking LinkedIn site and go, "Hey, I like to kill Jews and take pictures of it. So if you need some dead Jew pictures, I can hook you up." Like, get the fuck out of here.
And what did they know before the attacks occurred?
That this person was taking pictures inside the Palestinian territories over the last year or so, and that their stuff was particularly close to some of the atrocities that happened, and they like to keep track of them because of the humanity of the situation, and they wanted to show it.
Through all the outlets I mentioned, they all claim that they had no prior knowledge of the attacks. But
yeah, they didn't. The guy didn't send a memo beforehand, trusting that the New York Times wouldn't tip off the Israeli government.
I would ask, how did they not know of the attack?
Because these are photojournalists, not writers, or I don't know. They don't post their journals online. What the fuck's wrong with you?
Any freelance journalist setting out on an assignment must get approval first.
No, they're not going out on an assignment, shithead. They're not freelance journalists. They're photojournalists, and they would just send in pictures that they would pick up, for fuck's sake, or not. They would use or not use.
Did that not happen here?
No, it didn't happen. No, yes, they didn't. They weren't assigned October 7th. This motherfucker's like, it's like he's acting like October 7th was a New York Times investigative piece gone wrong.
It always happens. This is from a guy who worked in mainstream media for a really long time. In fact,
yeah, until they let you go because you suck.
In fact, it had to have happened. Didn't they vet these Hamas sympathizing
How the fuck would they?
So-called journalists?
Okay, that's not one of them. I would just like to say for the record, this might be the irony, motherfucker. The irony that this is probably a picture taken by one of those guys that Stankass is actually using.
Maybe, maybe not. The media is in Gaza is tightly controlled by Hamas.
Well, then I guess they probably weren't able to get a meeting.
Okay, there's no surprise there.
Yeah, I was hoping to be shocked.
So the New York Times and the others had to know. The only...
What do you mean? How are those sentences related? It's really hard, and it's very controlled by Hamas, so they had to know. No, they didn't.
The way you embed yourself with Hamas is if you are Hamas or...
So, just for the record, according to Stankass, Russia today is Hamas. Because Vladimir Putin invited the leaders of Hamas to Russia, and thereafter Hamas gave Russia Today reporters a tour of the tunnels. So they were able to get effectively embedded in these tunnels, and so therefore Russia is Hamas, Hamas is Russia. Thanks, Stankass.
Or at least a friend of Hamas.
Yes, like friends of Bill W. Yeah, maybe they're just addicted to Hamas and they just haven't come to terms with it.
I want you to watch this video.
Yeah, this is the guy, by the way. This is which is funny, like Norbert likes or whatever. This is the guy I was talking about. It's exactly the fucking footage. Like this dickhead's gonna come up with something new I haven't seen.
It is being reported that Hassan Azalea, on the back of a bike with Hamas terrorists, that's him there, and this so-called reporter flashes a grenade during this video. Okay, there you see it. What in the world does a journalist?
I think we're well past the point where people are going, I'm questioning this fellow's journalistic ethics. I think what you have here is a fellow operating on a level of flim-flam until such time as the mask came off. The weird part would be if, after seeing this footage, AP and all these other sources continued to do business with the guy or post his shit, which they didn't.
Flash a grenade for? In what world do they flash grenades?
I don't know. I don't think you're going to sexually arouse or even offend a grenade if you flash it.
I guess in the world of
you just put it on a park bench and walk up to it with a raincoat. I don't even know how it goes.
CNN and the Associated Press, Reuters, and the New York Times. It's not a journalist. So here he is again on the receiving end of a...
Yeah, this is one of the Hamas leaders kissing him. This shit's been around. He's stank so late to this fucking game.
Kiss from the leader of Hamas, Yahya Sinwar, back in 2020. Now, that's supposed to be a journalist there on the right. Here he is in front of a destroyed Israeli tank, talking about it, describing it, seeing the fire there, pointing it out for the outlets that he's working for. Well, we know he works for the Associated Press because the AP gives him photo credit. You can see it circled.
So did you. Wait a minute, you tit. Fucking, you out of your mind? Hold on. You played his shit. Look. You're sourcing his stuff, dum-dum.
Right there. In fact, he and others hired by these mainstream news outlets took plenty of...
Right, but they didn't see the other pictures that with the grenade and shit until later. And a lot of this stuff is just reporters going, oh my God, this happened and did it, and they have no idea how close it is or whatever. They're just getting the shit and going, like, oh fuck, there's a tank on fire.
Photos and videos of the Israeli massacre, leaving me speechless.
You don't have to talk, man. You just played terrorists' videos. You literally just played this dude's shit.
The most important question is, what did these major news outlets know? And could they have saved countless lives by...
No. They didn't know he was going to go to this thing with a fucking grenade. All the pictures he'd probably sent to them up to this point, and there's a reason why this dickhead isn't going back through the other pictures that are attributed to this guy through AP sources, is because he's probably showing, you know, sick or wounded kids or Gazans who are, you know, in distress or near a bombing or something, dealing with a shooting that was inside the Gazan territories, it was a sympathetic image that the New York Times could use. That's it. The idea that anybody at the New York Times fucking knew anything about October 7th and went, this will be juicy, get the fuck out of here. Just come on.
Sounding the alarm before the attack happened.
All right, goofy bullshit. This is just, like, again, if it was more entertaining, I'd probably ride it out. But what a bunch of shit. Speaking of a bunch of shit, by the way, this fella who looks like a character on SNL already. You do realize you could fit a lot more books on your shelves if you turn them, you know, long ways, if you spine out. But then I guess you have to read more, so that would suck. Anyways, this apparently, this is another Real America's Voice gem. This is Wayne Allen Root, which I don't know, is there a lot of Wayne Roots out there? And so you have to use Allen to differentiate yourself, or is this just like you're seeking serial killer cred? Really? Yeah. Have you been injured at work? Have you been injured on the job? Would you like to be? I'm Wayne Allen Root. All right. Here we go. Let's see this real quick. This is Wayne Allen Root, the America's Top 10. This is, I guess, our top 10 problems or our top 10 jobs. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. Let's find out. He's just trying to steal a bit from Letterman.
All right, now it's time for my weekly commentary. It's titled, Can You Handle the Truth? My brutal takedown of the GOP election disaster and what's really happening to America.
Yeah, what's really happening?
Well,
it is a brutal takedown.
This is starting to feel like Groundhog's Day.
It's just Groundhog Day. There's not plural hogs on that. There's one groundhog. I know this doesn't matter, but it kind of matters. Groundhog's Day? This is like Trump saying Silence of the Lambs.
The GOP.
He's like, Silence of the Lamb? The one lamb that's really quiet?
He lost again on Election Day just this past Tuesday.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah, I know. We know. We were watching. It's a good time.
This is my post-election analysis of what has happened to America and why the GOP keeps losing elections they're supposed to win.
Okay, this is the second time you said this in 30 seconds. Get on with it!
The first answer is simple.
We're a bunch of assholes.
Number one problem in America, and the number one problem for the GOP
is laryngitis.
Are one and the same: open borders.
What? I'm sorry. Are the Republicans letting too many people into their fucking party? Is that the idea?
Republican voters are being replaced and erased. We're being outvoted. Thanks to Democrat traitors waving the whole world in, America's now a
They're not, these fuckers aren't voting. What the fuck are you talking about? Trump was just patting himself on the fucking back on Univision, on Telemundo, I believe, that they got a bunch more Latino voters than last time.
Foreign nation to Americans. We're strangers in our own land. This open border is the greatest.
No, we're really not. I mean, I look, I understand, Wayne Allen Root, wherever you live, you don't know anyone. I get it. Everywhere you go, people either don't know you or pretend not to know you. The rest of us don't really have that problem.
This catastrophe in our nation's history times 100,000 and squared.
That's a lot. That's technically more humans than exist in the country. It's a lot. It's just a lot.
This is the great replacement strategy at work.
The great replacement strategy. Oh, okay. So they're trying to wipe out all the whites by bringing in a bunch of brown people. Gotcha.
Citizens are being overrun and outvoted by illegal alien invaders.
No, they're not being outvoted by quote unquote illegal alien invaders. Unless you count, I think this fucker thinks that women are illegal aliens.
How do you think Democrats turned California from the land of Republicans like Nixon, Reagan, and Pete Wilson into 100% deep blue Democrat state?
Good economic policies. I mean, California is has turned into the the seventh biggest economy on the fucking planet. And when Reagan ran it, it wasn't even in the top 10.
They kept adding illegal aliens by the millions till they outvoted California's legal citizens.
No, not really. You know, you still can't vote if you're quote unquote an illegal alien.
And eventually,
Again, this is just, I guess we're just bullshitting now, right? We're just supposed to let this shit slide.
No Republican could win ever again in a statewide race.
So this happened after Schwarzenegger. Okay.
Now Biden and his boss Obama, because never mistake, that's who's in charge.
Why?
Barack Obama. They're using the California model on the whole nation. Democrats.
Oh, you mean the model that has made a U.S. state the 7th largest economy on Earth. Okay.
Keep waving in hordes of illegals, and then Democrats and unions and Soros-funded organizations, and I'm sure...
I don't think these guys look like they're being waved in. It looks like they're being corralled and expelled.
Catholic charities, too, immediately show them...
Oh, fucking Catholic charities. I knew it. You know what? I was a doubter, and then Catholic charities. And he brought up Catholic charities. Like, oh, yeah, fuck.
2 things. How to sign up for 1,000 kinds of welfare and food stamps, and how to register to vote. We're being overrun.
Yeah, none of that is happening, especially in California.
This is the Alamo Part 2.
That would be in Texas.
This is the remake of Custer's Last Stand.
Yeah, those 2 things went very differently. I'm just saying.
I don't know about you, but I didn't like Part 1 of the Alamo, and I never wanted to die like Custer with 100 arrows in my back.
Well, then I would say read a book on warfare.
By the way, my pinstripe suits don't go with arrows, so I don't want that.
What the shit?
I believe open borders is one of the main reasons for the turnaround in Virginia. 2 years ago,
Virginia.
Republicans led by Glenn Youngkin swept the state from governor all the way to the bottom. The whole ticket won. And only 2 years later, with our country a crappy mess and our economy a crappy mess.
Yeah, not so much.
And massive inflation. And
yeah, no, inflation's going down. And again, most of our inflation was caused by supply shock.
The failed presidency of Joe Biden.
which has the longest stretch of unemployment under 4% in 50 years.
Virginia voters.
And passed an infrastructure bill and got us out of Afghanistan. And the Inflation Reduction Act was the biggest governmental support of green energy in our nation's history, which led to, among other things, a giant battery plant being built in Marjorie Taylor Greene's fucking district.
Decided to reverse course and vote Democrat?
Really?
Really? Or is it?
Or it's possible that by that time Trump had not talked everyone out of voting because he lost as well. Youngkin was able to pull it out.
Possible there are 100,000 new illegal alien Democrat voters in Virginia since.
No, there aren't.
Youngkin's victory in 2021. I'm probably lowballing it. There may be as many as 20 million new illegal aliens in the
And they all moved to Virginia.
USA since Biden took over.
Yeah. Thanks. By the way, I appreciate this guy adding 5 million on top of Trump's bullshit number.
Where do you think they're all going? To every red,
Canada,
and purple battleground state like Virginia.
Why? Is that where they'll be most welcome?
Virginia.
Is that where the jobs are? Are the red and purple battleground states the states where illegal aliens can find jobs the easiest?
Turn them deep blue. Until the GOP
I mean, are the local governments supporting these folks and giving them welfare and support and allowing this to happen? They do run their local welfare offices where people have to sign up for stuff. So Texas and Montana and Wyoming and all these fucking states are just handing out free whatever Obama phones and cash to. Is that how it works?
Figures out how to stop this. Will keep being overrun.
Yeah, it's totally overrun
by this invasion of illegal Democrat voters.
Or you fucked around and found out with women voters, and it's just getting worse.
Until America and the GOP is gone forever.
Well, I mean, I would disagree on the former and yes on the latter.
Trump either wins in 2024 or he is the last Republican ever.
Oh, don't threaten me with a good time. Look at that. Look at I thought this guy was just going to bum me out the whole time. Oh, shit. Let me hear that again. You what now? Hold on. Back the fuck up. Now, run. That was sweet. What the fuck?
Until America and the GOP is gone forever.
And then
Trump either wins in 2024 or he is the last Republican ever.
Well, I got to say, buddy, you're just printing a fucking get out the vote campaign. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you probably the single greatest reason that you would vote next year and vote for Joe Biden.
Until America and the GOP is gone forever.
This is it.
Trump either wins in 2024 or he is the last Republican ever.
Cool. Well, I print that out on leaflets and drop it all over the place.
After 2024, in this big brother weaponized police state with Democrats in full control.
You can tell this asshole just came from the Dinesh D'Souza screener.
Control of the country. Democrats will classify all Republicans as domestic terrorists.
No, that's not true. I mean, only the capable ones. The rest of you will be classified as mentally challenged and institutionalized, and then of course lobotomized. And what's that drug that makes you lose your sex drive? That one too. I don't know, whatever. That's what we're supposed to do, right? Re-education camps and stuff. Except we never bother to re-educate you. That's the whole idea.
An outlaw being.
Whatever happened to FEMA camps? Goddammit! I thought we were doing wait, Democrats, weren't we doing Agenda 21? Where the fuck was that? That's what that's all we're gonna do is just declare them domestic terrorists. Then what? Do we have to air quote when we say it?
A Republican. The 2024 election really is the end of the line.
For you guys.
But there's more to this story than open borders or what Democrats are.
Okay, first of all, we're 3 minutes and 57 seconds in. We're at 3:57, which is, I mean, at this point, you haven't even mentioned the Second Amendment. And you're not even you're on the first of America's top 10. I don't hold out a lot of hope we're going to get through all these or that there's even an actual list.
Doing to America. The GOP bears plenty of responsibility for its own demise.
Yeah. I mean, they elect assholes and liars and fools, and in one case, a guy who was all three.
The GOP is a joke.
Yeah, that we know that. I mean, we can see you. This is a visual medium. I mean, we would think that if all we could do is hear you, but looking at you, we're like, yeah.
We're weak, feckless, pathetic.
Sure.
Cowards.
Yeah. I'm again. No lies detected. And by the way, you think you should run everything?
Scared of her own shadow, not to mention bribed, bought, and paid for.
Okay, so wait a minute. Back the fuck up.
Democrats will classify all Republicans
as dipshits,
as domestic terrorists.
Same thing.
An outlaw being a Republican.
Yeah, I'm sorry about the audio volume being low. It's just how he posts it. It's just rumble. I'm sorry.
The 2024 election really is the end of the line. But there's more to this story than open borders or what Democrats are doing to America.
Right. Tell me about it. This is the part where just bring the sales pitch. Tell us all why Republicans should run everything, why they should have the presidency, the House, the Senate, why they should control everything. Shoot it. Here you go. This is your chance. Sell it.
The GOP bears plenty of responsibility for its own demise. The GOP is a joke. We're weak, feckless, pathetic cowards, scared of our own shadow, not to mention bribed, bought, and paid for. Almost our entire leadership is either morons or in bed with the enemy, paid to lose elections.
Huh. And yet, they should run everything. And yet, this dumb motherfucker is gonna vote straight R down the ticket. Meanwhile, I guess if this guy had any charisma or was worth looking at all, or had a voice that wasn't annoying, maybe we could print ads with this shit. But
that starts at the top with Ronna McDaniel, chairwoman of the Republican Party,
also known as the woman who always forgets, always and forever forgets that you don't. Sorry, let me put this on. Let's see. Go to here, we filters, we go to chroma key, and we turn this on. Boop. There we go. Close. And then it's reasonable. And we take this little guy and we just move these over here, and there you go. So the lady who always forgets never to wear green ever. Not that green anyway. So you can wear a navy green, dark green, something like that. But if I gotta say, you might be onto something, Wayne Allen Toot, that Ronna, not the brightest bulb in the box, because she actually wears green screen. I'm just saying, no one ever fucking listens to me.
Known as Romney 2.0. She's like the captain of the Titanic. She's like those movies where the lieutenant...
If she's the captain of the Titanic, you do realize that your party is the Titanic.
In Vietnam, every soldier under him wants to frag him. She has demoralized our entire Republican base.
No, I think their losses have. She funded a bunch of you dipshits, but whatever.
Now, I'm no expert psychologist, but if...
Dude, you're not an expert at anything. Hold on, I gotta turn off that thing again because it'll come back up. Okay.
Your entire voter base, 70, 80 million of us, hates their own leadership.
Maybe they have some work to do on themselves going, hey, why do I pick people I hate to run shit? Ha 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 ha.
Don't you think it's time to fire the CEO? Now,
I don't know. Why isn't it your fucking fault?
No Johnny come lately. This is not a new opinion of mine. I've said for years that
no chicks running the place.
Ronna McDaniel is poison. She's destroying our party. She's either the dumbest, most clueless, incompetent political operative in world history.
Which I guess would make her uniquely qualified to run the group that you said was feckless, weak, cowardly, stupid, bought and paid for?
Or she's collected a $100 million bribe from George Soros to make sure the GOP loses again and again.
Probably the second one. Probably that.
And it's an opinion show. That's my opinion.
Right. I mean, we know you don't have any facts. I mean, look at you.
Someone's getting bribed. My opinion. She's lost and lost and lost some more. What exactly does she do?
Gee, I guess one of the things she could do is jettison some of these loser candidates who are psychotically going after a goal that most Americans are against, especially when it comes to women's rights. But you can't because you need them because they're fundraisers because the only people who raise money in your stupid fucking party.
I don't know, but whatever.
Well, that's obvious.
Whatever it is, fire her and stop doing it. In sports, if the coach loses, you fire them. It's that simple.
No, you don't. Especially if the coach has no control over who the players actually are, and the players are not playing they're on a football field playing soccer or fucking baseball, or aren't even there, or are attacking people in the stands.
Maybe you fire them in the middle of the season if there's still a chance to turn the season around.
There isn't. So I would ride it out so you don't have to give them severance.
Or maybe you wait till the season's over. But no one re-signs a loser for more losing.
Yeah, but why'd you bring back Trump then?
Come on, we want more losing. Let's go, loser.
It's painful.
Can the GOP possibly be this stupid?
Yes, you just said they were. They're fucking morons. Of course, that which makes her the perfect leader, and I think they should take your advice, which is not to listen to anyone or something.
It's not possible. The RNC committeemen who voted for Rona must all be on the payroll of China.
Yeah, definitely.
Fire them all and then check their offshore bank accounts. Someone is getting filthy rich every time the GOP loses.
Yeah, Donald Trump. Yeah, all the money that needs to be raised for all these races is going into his legal fund and to help him fucking patch up his fucking golf courses and support his businesses, and isn't going into campaigns.
If you don't get rid of Ronna McDaniel,
I look, it's not up to me.
Say goodbye to the GOP.
Okay, again, you're not really motivating me, pal. I feel like now I want to send her a gift basket. I don't know what the fuck.
She will preside over its final death in 2024. Once a loser, always a loser.
Yeah, but I thought we weren't talking about Trump. We're talking about Ron, because she won some races. He fucked them up.
Rona's not turning this around. We need new blood.
Yeah, but candidates.
That's why we fired Kevin McCarthy.
No, you fired Kevin McCarthy because you're assholes.
As House Speaker.
Oh, I see. Just in general.
Mike Johnson is a big upgrade.
Yeah, totally. It's great. It's awesome. What's he done?
Now we need to upgrade Ronna McDaniel.
Mm-hmm. You know, maybe it's just an update. You know, maybe you just need to turn her off and turn her back on or something.
And please, no one who's related to Mitt Romney. Next up.
That's fuck, man. We're on 2
on the brutal honesty list.
Jesus Christ! How are we at? Fuck, you better fucking lightning round this shit.
Rigged elections. Open borders and terrible leadership alone are not defeating the GOP. Democrats are cheating.
Why would we have to cheat if we have all these extra voters? I'm dead serious. If we have 100,000 extra, like, illegals voting, then why do we have to even fuck with the machines? Why don't we just let them fake vote or some shit?
No, they rigged and stole 2020.
No, they didn't.
Nothing has changed since then.
Well, yes, it has. Donald Trump lost fair and square, lost all of his lawsuits about it.
Stop lying and trying to tell me we've made progress.
I'm not going to tell you that because apparently that's what Trump's not telling you that either, which means you fuckers are not showing up to vote, which also helped us on Tuesday because you're fucking dumb.
There's no difference between now and 2020. Democrats rigged.
Yes, there is. People aren't dying hand over fist from COVID.
22 midterms to prevent a well-deserved 80-seat GOP congressional landslide victory. Instead, we just barely won. And then they rigged 2023 again so we'd lose.
No, No, they didn't need to.
Yes, the GOP leadership.
Well, back in all fairness, it could have been rigged that someone could have hypnotized the entire Republican Party to be completely anti-woman when they make up the majority of the electorate. That's a possibility.
Is dumb, and they're clueless, and they're incompetent. But still, we're not losing elections fair and square. The system is rigged, and Democrats are cheating. Or do you believe with this miserable, massive inflation?
Yeah. By the way, this guy thinks this is an example of a rigged election. This is from this is some of the footage that was used in Dinesh D'Souza's movie. This guy has all the votes from he's a healthcare worker. These are from the place that he came from. It's his job to drop them all into the machine. So he took a picture of him dropping them off so that everybody could see, so he could go back to the fucking old folks home and go, here it is. Yeah, I voted the way you said. I dropped it off. Nothing happened to it. I promised I would take it, and there it went.
Just wiping out the working class and the middle class, that everyone in Virginia raced to the polls to vote Democrat 2 years after they all raced to the polls to vote Republican. Really?
Yeah, because Glenn Youngkin didn't actually do anything worth a fuck.
Every poll shows that 75% of voters across the country hate the direction of America.
Yeah, but for different reasons. Again, half wanted to go that way and half wanted to go that way, and they just don't like the speed of it. It's not the same thing.
Yet, a few days ago...
It's like the people who hated Obamacare because half of them hated it because they thought it was fucking communism, and the other half hated it because it wasn't Medicare for all. But the Medicare for all crowd, it's not like they hate the idea of improved health care. They just wish it would go further. There's a difference.
Oh, they voted for more of it? Come on. I may have been born yesterday, but I wasn't born in the past 15 minutes.
I don't understand I don't know why he thinks that's cute. I don't know why he thinks that's a funny take on things. Is that a reference to something else that I'm not aware of? Because I don't know where the fuck.
Until the GOP finds a way to ban mail-in ballots with no voter ID, ballot drop boxes, ballot harvesting, no signature match, corrupt machine voting.
This dude's still on talking points from December of 2020.
Dirty voter rolls and votes counted for days after Election Day.
Well, if there's a lot of them.
Among many other problems.
And by the way, there wasn't a big count. There was a bunch of recounts because Republicans insisted on recounts in areas where they continued to find more Biden votes. So the idea that they're still counting now when you fuckers asked for it and you lost worse is not an indicator that, oh my God, it takes us so long to settle our election. You're the ones that are delaying the settlement of the election.
Going to win again. Democrats have found a way to permanently rig and steal elections.
By tricking Republicans into never voting again using dipshits like this.
And
this fucking finger puppet does not realize that he's move over TYT. The Republicans have somebody who wants to diminish the Republican vote as much as you try to collapse the Democratic vote.
They are damn close to turning America into a one-party communist state.
But first of all, there's no such thing as a two-party communist state. So technically.
Are you aware, in world history, once entrenched in power, no one has ever defeated a communist government at the ballot box?
It's because they don't have ballot boxes.
That's because voting isn't what matters in a communist country.
Yeah, they don't vote at all. There's a select committee. What?
All that matters is who counts the ballots. We are there now, except the dumb, weak, cowardly GOP.
Right, that you want in charge of everything. The dumb, weak, cowardly GOP. That's who you want in charge of nukes and the country, and they can't show any strength. They're idiots, and you want them in the White House. Why?
Is too stupid, blind, or bribed to even know it.
Yeah, and you're going to vote for those people. I don't know what the fuck to tell you.
So knowing that it's literally next to impossible to throw this communist government out right now with their rigged election.
Well, you don't get to throw anybody out. You get to fucking vote or shut the fuck up.
And censorship of conservatives and weaponization of government again.
Well, again, why are you against us censoring people who are dumb, weak, cowardly, feckless, bought and paid for?
Conservatives like President Trump.
Oh, you mean dumb, cowardly, weak, feckless, bought and paid for?
What are we going to do?
What are we going to do?
Who's riding to our rescue?
No one. Grow the fuck up.
I only know one man for sure is on our side, Donald J. Trump.
Yeah, you might want to rethink that, Wayne.
I know the deep state hates him. That's great news.
Yeah, they don't really give a fuck. There is no deep state. You just come up with a sexier term for bureaucrat. It's boring.
I know he's superhuman. That's great to have him on your
No. He's extra large human. Does that count?
side. I know
He's shorter than he says he is, but he's rounder than he says he is. So I guess,
he's a one-man army. That's good.
No, he's not. He's, hold on, I'm going to sneeze. 1 second. Woo, I'm allergic to that stuff. There's always a delay on it.
Bullshit!
There you go. Thank you. It always takes a little while the first time I use it. You know what I'm talking about?
But even Trump needs a little help.
He's got a little help. He's got a lot of help, actually. You guys are paying his legal bills.
I'm sad to say that I now think it's pretty clear with people like Ronna McDaniel in charge, the GOP is never going to give him the help he needs. So we better come up with another plan fast.
Yeah, I don't know, reignite the fucking Whig party?
Now I've got a dozen more brutal reasons the GOP keeps...
A dozen? Motherfucker, okay, first of all, it says America's top 10, not America's top 15. You've done 3, and you've got a dozen more? What the ass is this?
Snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. No one could be this stupid.
Well, right, they're obviously bought and paid for by the Chinese Communist Party. That includes Comer and Jim Jordan and Trump himself, and probably Ronna Daniels and Corey Lewandowski, and everybody even pretending to be on your side is probably against you. And I would just... I mean, you might have an impulse to trust somebody, but that's probably that's how you know they're a good spy. Yeah.
It has to be intentional. Get ready for part 2 next week.
I'm ready. I'm ready for next week. It's gonna happen. I learned a lot about why you should never fucking be in charge of anything. Jesus Christ! Can you imagine this dickhead talking about a fucking Little League baseball team? Jesus H. Christ. But that does. Good old Wayne Allen Root. Oh, Wayne Allen Root. He's a man for our times. Hold on. Just earworm myself. I can't get it. I'm sorry. Ghost of you on threads. Pal, did you know anything about the election law? No. Okay. Yeah. That's her exchange. Hold on. Let's see if this is. Ladies and gentlemen, hold on. Oh, it won't play through like an asshole. Well, I'll do that one for later. I'll grab her or whatever. But this is, we'll end with the kind of footage that makes you, that feels good. The kind of stuff I got to put a spring back in Wayne Allen Root's step. I feel like he's a little under, he's not excited. It's rough. He's having a tough time. So something that'll make him feel good about his party again. Something that'll give him, a little bit of hope for the future. Oh, there it is. This would be Don Jr. sitting in court before he testifies again. And then I guess something, brief glimpse of Trump Jr. walking in. Not so much. Hi. Welcome, thank you. Okay, bye-bye now. Room 300. Oh, here comes the sneaky. Camera captures brief glimpse of Donald Trump Jr., New York AG Letitia James in the courtroom. Bum, 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 bum. Are you supposed... Is that camera on? No, not at all. No. Click, clock, click, clock, click, clock, click, clock, click. I love gonzo journalism. Click, clock, click. Okay, turn around. Y'all can get some footage right here. Settle down in here. Get that footage. There you go. Getting that footage. Everybody looks happy. They're all looking at me and stuff. I tried to grow a beard, but I just had to use a mascara pencil. These guys next to me are mad. I'm a lawyer. Shut up, dumbass. I'm trying to talk to that chick on the end. Oop, they're trying to kick some sound in. Nope, that's it. Ring bump. Hi. I wish I looked more like Ellis from Die Hard right now, but it just wasn't possible. They ran out of Grecian formula. Don't look over at those people. They're stupid. And she's like, I gotcha. Hello. This dude back here, he makes my list for the quiet one you gotta watch. I'm just saying. There's no way with this blue tie, red shirt combo and that beard situation that dude doesn't have a Ren Fair costume somewhere. Yeah, CSL, me too. I was so excited. Clip, clop, clip, clop, clip, clop, clip, clop, clip, clop, clip, clip, clop. It's like an old CD-ROM game back in the day. Secret coup video. Oh, is this the footage that they're put up? I think that's what you were showing. Hold on one second. This was her business. One second. Let's copy this. Copy message link. Excellent. And then we'll go over to here and we'll go to making copies. All right. That's terrible. There we go. And we put it there. And we get to this. And oh wait, shit. I don't want that. I want this. I want that. Copy text. And then we talk into this. And we put it in here. And we go to paste. And hopefully it's there. There you go. Yep. All right. Hopefully this will play through. I don't match. There we go.
In which Rudy called me every name in the book. And I was the worst lawyer he'd ever seen in his life. There were no circumstances under which he'd work with me on anything. He called me a bitch and I don't know what all. And that's pretty much all I remember about that one. Did I know anything about election law? No. But I understand fraud from having been a prosecutor for 10 years.
What was President Trump's sense of what you would do as special counsel?
I guess he assumed, and I would have thought that I would have looked at putting into effect a provision of 13848 that would have allowed the machines to be secured.
Secured.
4 or 5 states.
How did you choose which states that you would target?
How would I have chosen that?
Sorry, this is quiet. It's just there's no audio controls on this.
By the ones where there were the most statistical anomalies.
Statistical anomalies.
Ms. Powell, were you ever around when...
This is her proffer, I think. This is the video that she had to make her deal.
Anyone told Donald Trump that he had lost the election?
Oh, yeah.
Who?
Pat Cipollone, Eric Hirschman, Derek Lyons, all thought he'd lost.
Thought. Listen to her.
Was that in the December 18th meeting?
Yes.
What was President Trump's reaction when, I guess, this cadre of advisors would say you lost?
It was like, well, they would say that and then they'd walk out and he'd go, see, this is what I deal with all the time. He was
the truth. It's such a pain in the ass.
Specifically willing to appoint me special counsel. In fact, he looked over at Cipollone 3 different times and said, do I have the authority to name her special counsel? And Cipollone said, yes, you do. And then somebody said, well, she doesn't have a security clearance. So he looked at Cipollone and he said, do I have the authority to give her a security clearance? And Cipollone said, yes, you do. And then about the 3rd time we went through that scenario, Cipollone, I think.
Everybody in the Justice Department was threatening to quit because he was going to make this woman a special counsel.
Said, you can name her anything you want, Mr. President, and nobody's going to pay a bit of attention to it. There was a
big shouting match.
in which Rudy called me every name in the book. And
okay, so that's the end of it. Yeah, there you go. He called me every name in the book except the Kraken, and there wasn't much I could do about it, quite frankly. I was just left out to dry.
Also, there was a thing where Rudy Giuliani called me a bitch and called me everything in the book, and I didn't know nothing about election law, but I knew fraud when I saw it. Oftentimes, you don't want to be standing behind me in a Cracker Barrel when they try to tell me that one of them candy necklaces haven't been sucked on already. Try to sell me that for $1.25. Get out of here and go meet your mother in the parking lot, because that is a bunch of mess that I'm not going to clean up for anybody down here in this little hoosegow or whatever. You had me my eggs Benedict on flapjacks so I can get the damn out of here. That's why I do takeout orders anymore. I don't sit in a Cracker Barrel because I don't trust you. What are my thoughts about Joe Manchin? Where the governor who's running to take over his place used to be a Democrat and is a Republican, because that's what you have to do to get elected in West Virginia. More than likely, he'll side with the Democrats as much as Manchin did. It won't matter. He won't be a hardline Republican. He won't vote to I don't know. He'll vote to pass the debt ceiling and all that kind of shit. It's just I'm not going to sweat it. Because even that one swap out, we still have the majority. So, and which we're going to keep. The question is other races. Just saying. And there you go. The question is do we allow the kind of cinema issue to allow Carrie Lake to squeak in or some shit like that, which would be terrible. How did you see the Rudy Giuliani Ukraine story? Which one, Dr. 13? You'll have to send it to me, because there's been so many. And only clip except Midas react. Yeah, right. She's all good, and I'm the Kraken Barrel. That's where I like to eat. It's my favorite.
Yes. All right. I gotta take a break, because I've been on fucking, what is it? 7 hours and 41 minutes today plus. So thank you guys so much for being here. I'll see you guys tomorrow afternoon at the regular time in the afternoon. No morning show tomorrow. Although I keep threatening to do a short video, and I'm really gonna get around to do it one of these days. I promise.
I just gotta do something that I'd already covered a bunch of times on the show, or doing a short version of it and stuff like that. But
anyways, I love you guys. And thank you guys for hanging with me all day. Don't forget to like, subscribe, support the show in any way that you can. If you can, Venmo me. I worked hard for the money today. Come on now. William did. Thank you so much, William, for that. I appreciate it.
It means a lot to me, that you released the Kraken of Venmo. I'm wonderful to see you. So take care of yourself, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. I gotta make a look for her as well. Okay.
See you tomorrow.